Hello again, and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I will, as I mentioned in the video before, actually show how you can adjust focus to infinity. And this time it will be in a Pre-Ai Nikkor 35mm 2.8. And those old lenses, which are really good for new cameras, but sometimes they are not correct at infinity. So how can we actually adjust those old lenses? Well, it's not that hard. We just need some tools. We need the famous rubber cones here from Japan Hobby Tool. We need some, as I use, dentist tool, which is very good for many things working with lenses, cameras. And the one here with the soft edge here is really good to actually pry off the rubber here. And this one is a really pointy dentist tool, which is good to making marks, reference marks in lenses, which is really good, and of course cameras. We will also need a 1.2mm flathead screwdriver. This is a German brand called Vera, but you can use whatever you want. You can get in the hardware store. We also need a 2mm JIS screwdriver, and since this lens is produced in Japan, they use JIS screws, crosshead screws. I also prefer to use my modified PH00. Well, I know it's a Phillips screwdriver, but I simply file off the pointy tip so it acts as a JIS, and in my opinion it actually works pretty good. Now a tweezer can also be very handy, and we need a measuring tool, which I will show. Well, let's jump into it. Oh, we also need some nail polish remover and a cotton bud. Now, before we actually take apart anything, we need to measure how long is the lens from the very front to the back here. Not the mount itself, but the very back here, because it's easier to measure to there. So if we do so and simply measure how long the lens is at infinity, and simply do so, it will be something 49.07, which is actually absolutely great. If you just write it down, it could be different in your lens, but so it is in mine. Now, to come into it and actually do some measuring, we need to take off the rubber here. And for that I will use my great dentist tool and pry off the rubber here, and simply not pull too much in the rubber. It's old and it could break. So, and then we come into the there's a retaining ring here around the focusing ring, and if we look closer here, there's a little hole. There could be, maybe in your lens, there could be a little set screw, but there isn't anything here. So I will just unscrew it, but it can sit pretty tight. So to actually get that off, I will use some Oxon flexible basic gloves, which is a really sticky rubber. And for that, it's actually very easy to unscrew, have a good grip on the lens, and simply unscrew it. And then it's off. Very effective. So we do not use those anymore. But then we head into the inner part here, and we will see there are, just like the 28mm 3.5, there are 3 screws around here, one there, there, and there. But the difference is that here we cannot really see the tiny set screw in here. So where are they gone? Well, to come into those, we need to do some, actually to come into them, we simply need to unscrew the front nameplate, and for that the rubber tool is very handy. It will be number 4 in this case, and simply unscrew it. You can also buy some of those rubber stopper in the shops who sell things for making beer and wine and so. So here we see the nameplate, nothing special. And then we need this retaining ring. But be careful, be really careful. When unscrewing this ring here, the whole lens assembly can fall out. So take care of that. I will show you. Well, there is a tiny set screw here that we need to loosen. And so that's enough, just 2 turns, and then unscrew the retaining ring counterclockwise. So, and keep the lens here. So, that's it. And take care of the little set screw. Good. Now, if I turn the lens over something here, the lens assembly will fall out. So take care of that. This is the guide pin that prevent the lens assembly from moving. Now, the only thing we need to do is to simply unscrew the 3 screws here. It will say this, this, and this. And just so we know where things should sit when we put them in again, we have the infinity. You see, I keep a finger on here. If not, the lens assembly can actually fall out if I press here on the back. So keep in mind that you should have the lens in here. Well, so we will simply set a mark here. Where is my tool here? This is an end stop for the near end here. As you can see here, this is the end stop here. So set a mark it could also be the other end, but it will just be over here. So simply set an arrow or a mark so you know where it is, because when taking off the focusing ring here, you will get lost. So where is your hold on a second, that was a glass issue. So you will know where the infinity is here when it's correct. You could also set a mark here so you know where things actually is in line. The infinity is correct. So unscrew those 3 screws. There could be some issue with the thread lock. So we will simply just add a little nail polish remover and just add a little here and let it suck in a little on each of those. It's not really much in need. So, and then unscrew them. Because then we will see the small set screws where they are. So that's why a tweezer is also very handy. And then take off the focusing ring itself by wiggle it a little. So this is how it looks. And now we can actually see the small set screws around here. One there, there and there. So we need to loosen them just a little, just maybe 4 to 6 turns, and then the same thing happen again. But before doing so, just so you remember, set a mark here where the infinity is. Oh, sorry, focus. Come on. You see, the focusing ring is at the white index mark. So I set an infinity, a scratch here. And the inner, which will be this ring, also set a mark in line with the outer ring. So I know where it is. Where the correct infinity is. So now I'm actually ready to unscrew this. Loosen, of course. So, and there it is. So now if I turn the outer ring here, you will probably see, especially when I hold on the inner ring somewhere here, so it will prevent the whole focusing helicoid from move. I will just turn the outer, so you can see they are actually, it's possible to move it. So if we do it, just set it there. So we have the now we are back to normal. But then I will move the outer ring. Look what happened to the when it goes in and out. You see, it moves. We can just move it out again, but then the other ring will move. So I can just put a finger here and move the outer so it's back to normal. There. And if I do it again and keep a finger here on the front, you see it goes in. And it can actually go further in. There, of course, there is a limit. Just so you know it. So the limit is not that much, but still it could be enough for the adjustment to your lens or your camera. So it will just be so if we look on the back here. Oh gosh, it fell out. What's happened? Well, it could happen in your lens. So how to put it back in again? Yeah, okay. Well, you see, set it to aperture 22. And then the pin here all the way up to here. Of course, I set a mark here, so I know it. And the other pin that is here, you simply move it all the way up to here, as long as it can. And then we have the screw. Not, it's not a screw, it's actually to fine-tune the lens position, the lens assembly position when it sits in the gap here. So if we look here, the pin here goes into the little fork here, and the other pin here actually go into the wider fork here. And at the same time you have to align this screw so it sits correct. So this is why the pin has to go all the way over here, and this pin always has to go all the way over here. And now it should be possible to just slide it in. Could be a little different, difficult, but then here it is. And then we can move the aperture, keep a finger on the front, and we should also move the pin on the back. Now, since I set the lens back to normal infinity for my camera, or maybe you have adjusted, you can just screw in the 3 set screws here and gently tighten them. So, and then put in the focusing ring itself. And if you put it, I mean, you have the index mark here, you have the infinity here, and the index mark here. So when you put the focus ring on, the lens assembly shouldn't move. So put it over here and you think, okay, that's not correct. No, but it's just easier to actually get the screw holes aligned correct. And then I also have my marks here, which also should sit correct. So now I can actually put in the screw in the 3 screws that hold the focusing ring. And one can use some Loctite thread lock, but but I don't think it's not that necessary, because there is some on here. Remember to not put the lens upside down, because then the lens assembly will fall out. So screw in the last screw, and then I'm safe home when I put the front retaining ring here on, and just going backward to catch the thread, and then screw it in, gently tighten it. So now there is no problem, nothing will fall out. So set the lens to 0.3, because then you can see the small set screws that hold the front retaining ring here. And everything is almost done. I can put on the nameplate, catch the thread by going a little backward, so, and then screw it in using a kind of a rubber tool. Gently tighten it, then put in the focus ring, retaining ring, and also catch the thread and tighten it. Then the rubber ring, and we are actually done. So, and just for see is everything okay, I can just measure here. How should it actually measure? Oh. So, that is actually fine again. So everything should be fine, and the lens is back to normal again without destroying, or, well, everything is proper again. So that's all for me. Hope you can use the info in this video. So bye bye.